morning everyone, Carol here at Tokaz Journals. As always, very big warm welcome from me. Thanks for joining me. Always love having you on board. So today, as you can see, I've got a guest check in front of me. So I'm going to go in for prompt number 8 of the 50 stack challenge, which is being hosted by Amy, or Crafty Cat, as she is known on YouTube. And as always, all the information is in the description box below the video if this challenge is new to you. So the prompt for this altered guest check for number 8 is vellum. Had to think then for a minute. It's vellum. So I have in and amongst my stash this envelope that was sent to me a while back, and I opened it at the bottom and I saved it because I really like this detail up at the top, and I thought that can come in useful while I'm using it today. The other bits and bobs that I've got, well, as you can see here, I've got a little piece of handmade paper, and this is in shades of pinks and mauves, and it's quite prominent on this side, but I like the muted side to it, and also there's a little bit of texture there, so I was thinking I might use that. What else have I lifted out? I've got this, which was some packaging, and it's very pink, as you can see. I love this gold embossing on here. This is heat embossing, so I might be using that. I've got this little one here. As you can see, there's a bit of a theme with handmade papers going on. This is vellum, as you can see, and that's vellum. So I will be hitting the prompt for vellum. So this is a little stamped image on some handmade paper. This is a lovely little image that I was gifted, and again, this is on some handmade paper. Isn't that adorable? So I'm going to be using that. This is some handmade paper, and I don't know if I did this on it or if it came like that. I think I might have done that actually. I've got some more pink handmade paper here. This was part of some packaging, and again, this is a stamped image with a bit of washi on handmade paper, and this is some really fine handmade paper with, can you see, images of, not images, grasses and petals and leaves trapped in it. So I've got a smooth side there and a slightly textured side there. So I've pulled out these to see what I could do with on my guest check, and what I thought of doing is doing something actually on the guest check and then overlaying it with the vellum. So to start with, I need to do something on my guest check, and let's see what I could use for that. I'm liking, oh, that's perfect, isn't it? Look at that. Now that hides the writing at the top there, like that. This one's off to one side. Let's have a look at that. I like this rough edge here. This one's rough, but it's not as rough. And you know, I'm liking that as well. Ooh, look at that. Now if I put it there, this piece behind is just in from the edge of the guest check, and I've gone in again for this piece, and that little notch that's taken out of the top almost leaves that 8 showing. So I'm going to rip away a little bit more down this side here, because I'd like it staggered a bit more on my guest check. But the other thing is, I want that 8 to be showing. That was perfect, wasn't it? Let's have a look. I honestly didn't pull it out knowing that that would happen, but that's definitely working better for me. Like that. Let's just straighten this little bit up here. Yeah, I'm liking that actually. And I was going to use this on the outside, actually, on the vellum. All right, that's where I initially thought. But do you know what? I quite like that on there. So I need to make it smaller. I am going to end up with that check up there unless, or that word check up there, unless I can maybe pop that in there. Oh, I might do that actually. I don't mind this down at the bottom for some reason, but I don't want that word up there. So maybe, I can't put a whole strip in there because that will cover up the 8, unless this is thin enough that I can see it through. Let me just put this in. Do you know, it will go. Okay, let me just fiddle with this first because I'm going to use it on here. I like it. I'm liking that like that. Let's see how well this, oh gosh, I was going to say, let's see how well this tears. It doesn't tear easily, but thank goodness for nails at the moment. So let me take away a little bit there. Gosh, this is tough. Either that or I've turned into a weakling overnight. Goodness. Oh, there we go. Just wondering if I want a bit more of this showing. I'm quite liking having the 3 staggered. I think I will just take off a little bit more of this one. Oh, I thought I'd ripped the wrong side then. Panic, panic. Okay. I don't mind the 0.8. Move it across a little bit more. And of course, by doing that, I get more showing. Okay, I've snookered myself. I should have not taken that last bit off, but I'm not too worried about it. I can manage that. Do you know, I'm just going to go with that and have that as my detail. I am tempted to rip across there, but there's a hint of pink across the top, which seems such a shame to lose. But I might just give a bit more detail on that bit there. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Gorgeous colours there. Could always have that there. Right, let's play with this. It doesn't matter where I place the pink because this is masking off a lot of the letters. Do you know, I might just go with that. Yeah, I'm liking that. So what I'm going to do is what am I going to do? Right. I think this would be lovely, not hand stitched, machine stitched. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch round each of these 3 pieces, and I am going to roughly tear down this side. Yeah, you can just see a hint of the 8 through there, and I'm going to take away a little bit across the top because that's a straight edge, and I think it would be nice to match it all in with the other handmade paper. Now I'm thinking that I'm not going to stitch this on its own, but what I will do is I will stitch it actually to the guest check. So yeah, so I've got a little collage going here, haven't I? So what I'm going to do, as I say, I'm going to stitch around these pieces. I'm not going to stitch around this bit at the back as yet because I might do some other stitching on top, but what I will do is my usual trick of just putting a dab of glue where it's not going to be too noticeable, just to hold my piece in place. Okay, so I'll be back in just a moment with the magic of YouTube, having stitched these pieces. So this is what the guest check looks like now. Sorry, I've got a bit of glue on there. I've glued down that handmade paper to the guest check and deliberately put glue in this area here so that I could pick up the numbers through the paper. And then, as you saw, I've stitched all the way around each of these pieces and I've laid them up and glued them to my guest check. So that's that. I have this scrap left over, and now I need to do something with these other pieces to hit the vellum prompt. Sorry. Right, so I'm going to leave that one to one side for the moment. It's quite a bright pink, so I'm a little bit hesitant about using it as much as I like this embossing. Maybe I just cut that out and put that on here or on the front, I don't know. So this, I really like this, as I mentioned before, because of this detail up here. And I was wondering whether I could use it like that, but I don't see how I can. I think what what I would like to do, where my head is going, is I would like to have an eyelet in this corner and go through to the back, and obviously this is a cinched eyelet, so that won't work. So I like that detail, so I'm going to replicate that detail, and I'm just going to see if I've got enough of the envelope to be able to use the rest of it. Now if I flip it like that with the flap underneath, then that shows me that I have plenty that I can use. I am hesitant about using this bit down at the bottom because obviously there's been double-sided tape there, which I can see, you might not be able to see on camera, so that's why I was just measuring this up. And the other reason I don't want to use this is because that's not a straight line. So what I'm thinking is I might cut this down and cut it down so that it's level with the guest check, and cut it down this edge here, and then stitch along here, down the fold and along the bottom, and make a pocket or a tuck, and I think that would work. So I'm going to do that, and then I thought I could just, let me pop that one to one side, just perhaps layer these up on top. What about that one? And do something really, really simple like this, just layering up on top, and then put an eyelet up there. So I've got my pocket, but it also acts as a bit of a flap. So that's what I think I'm going to do. I don't like that. That's not working with that. It's clashing to me. So I'm going to take that away. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm going to go into hyperlapse, everybody, and I'm going to trim down this and take it away to my machine and machine stitch it. So I'm going to carry on and do that. Okay, so this is my vellum envelope stitch now. So I've stitched all the way round, but The overhang from the original envelope, I didn't trim off, I just folded it in to give some extra support inside my envelope. And the first thing I did was to stitch both sides of that and then go round all the way around. Now obviously I didn't need to stitch down this side, but I just wanted to. So that's what this looks like. As you can see through the back, I've got this area here because the original envelope was one that folded over like that and was joined down the back. So I've got that, but I always knew I would have, and I'm quite comfy with that. So that's going to go on the top of my guest check, and I have my little pocket off to one side. So what I thought I would do is do some layering up on this. Look at that, that's the bit that I chopped off. I absolutely love that. That would make a great little sort of side tag or something like that, wouldn't it? It's lovely. I think I will use it, not necessarily for this project, but I'll certainly use it for another project. It's got some layers there where I've just done the snippage, but yeah, I really like that. Ooh, doesn't it look nice inside that little square there? Oh, that gives me an idea for on here. Okay, so I'm digressing as always. So I thought that I would just do some simple layering up on here, and I thought that I would use my handmade paper on the top. This is obviously, as you can see, the perfect size for layering up on the top there. But what I would like to do is I would like to just bring it in slightly so that I can pick up that stitching, so that when it's on the top, it gives a little bit of interest down this side, but also gives a hint that there's something going on there. And you probably just noticed I've lined this up with the top of my piece. I'm going to leave that straight. I've got a lovely torn edge here. I've got a straight edge here. So this is the one I'm going to try and tear. Fingers crossed. And then you probably saw, as I was just saying, that I was putting a crease along the bottom. So I think that I will try and tear away this, see how well it tears. Oh, it tears beautifully. Okay, so that gives me a clue that this edge I should be able to tear fairly easily, she says. But it is a very small strip that I'm going to be tearing off, so it could be famous last words, everybody. So I'm just going to burnish it with my fingernail. And actually, why am I doing it with my fingernail when I have the proper tool off to one side? And as you saw, I've just knocked that fold over at the bottom there. So I'm going to go back and reinforce that like that. Now I'm going to try and tear this away very carefully, and hopefully that fold will help me keep it relatively smooth. And it's not particularly working, but I'm just going to carry on doing that. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I'm just giving it a little bit of a smooth out. It's got a bit scrunched in my hand. So I'm thinking that will go on there like that. I've got enough of that stitching showing there. And I thought I would just stagger this one in as well. So I need to take a bit off this side, and I'm also going to take a bit off that side. Okay, there we have it. I've got that like that. So that edge is nicely staggered. I did take off a little bit more off the bottom there because I thought that might be better. So this is how it's looking now. And I thought I would use this little piece. Now, putting that bit in that square there, I really like that. So I'm thinking that that would look nice if I did this up in this top corner up here. And maybe if I had that down there like that and try and get the eyelet through here. Now, do I take it over the other side onto the back? You're not really going to see anything of that. And I think I'm just going to rip that away because I can use that on something else. And I'm just going to line this up with the edge. Like that. Just roughly measure by a fold where I need to rip it so that I can, oh gosh, another stiff one. Oh, I've definitely gone weak. See, I'll have to do some exercises to build up my crafting strength. So I'm liking how that's looking. I probably will take a bit more off this side here. But again, it's impeding or impinging rather on the flower. So I'm going to take a bit off the bottom now. I think this line is not going to be noticeable when I actually get round to doing it. Or putting my eyelet in there, sorry.